Well, guys, it's getting worse down here. Somebody bought Connect 4. This is big time. We need help. Help! Look at you, Justin. Look what you did to your country. You brought us all back together, you fucking idiot. Freedom!
Yeah, they're calling me crazy. All right, let's get it out and say for a moment that you're right. Who's the one thinking of ways to fight the system at night? Who wants to save your babies from the Five Eyes and from DARPA? The establishment's been poisoned, not to mention Big Pharma. Who wants to profit from your sickness? Kill you slowly while you witness this global metropolis being blown to bits amidst a tiny revolution that begins with you. Get your head on the sand and contemplate the truth as an actual truth. You call me crazy, but the crazy one is you. My only job in life is to examine it and try to fucking prove it. Yet even though you're mindless and you promote the senselessness and continue to let them take away what we fought for all these years, you call me crazy for wanting the truth? I fear for you. I catch a lot of flack and find it confusing. If this were a comedy track, I might find it amusing. But I have no illusions of the evil powers colluding. You call me crazy, yet it's you that is using the mainstream messages riddled with brainwave signals and fake-ass role models and Luciferian symbols. You're calling me crazy for pointing it out, son. You call me a threat when I say don't give up your guns. And yet, I got the balls to say protect yourself. And hell, you ain't worried what bottled water remains on the shelf. But when the power stops and the lineups through the after party starts, your food and water's gone, gas is rationed, fashion, the Kardashians are far from thought. Finally be asking yourself, how do we manage and how have we got to this point? Remember, inaction and apathy are both behavior that's complicit with the powers that are in the process of eradicating your spirit. You need to wake up and realize before it's too late. Join us now. This is love versus hate. Good against evil, this is real life, not a fictional paperback or fall blockbuster. You are being jacked. Who, what will it take for any of you to react? While you sleep, I'm working with my colleagues to take this shit back. Keep on calling me crazy and sleep well at night. I think you're crazy for not wanting to fight. This is for humanity during a selfish era. Please wake up. Hello. Oh, pardon me. Where's my manners? Ooh, there we go. There might be a bit of noise because of my window being open and what have you. But, let's see what we got going on here with the microphones. Let me put that into there. I want to talk a bit about journalism, freedom of press, maybe even kind of delve into where loyalties lie with terms of being able to exist, being able to afford to exist, should I say. Anyway, kind of being noticed for being bold and kind of becoming the thing rather than just shooting off the hip, you know, and saying, oh, well, you know, it is what it is. Here's Anita Krishna. I'm going to bounce over to the other screen here. And I'm just going to play this back. Hopefully it goes to the proper... I think it will. We'll see. I want to see if it goes to the proper audio channel.
Recording in progress.
Okay.
did. I just had it turned off, and it worked rather well. Good. All right, fantastic. Okay, check it out.
Hey everyone. It's been a rough couple of years. There is no doubt about that, no question about that. We have all gone through some sort of ordeal with COVID in our own way. And that's okay. We are strong. We can get through it, but we need the right information. And what we're going through needs to be validated. So we need to now start seeing both sides reflected in the media. And that is just clearly not happening. And it's been going on for way too long, as far as I'm concerned. I'm somebody that used to work for mainstream media. I don't anymore. And there's a big, long story about that. But I am interested in now the truth. A lot of people like us, we've been doing our research and then being mocked for it. It's time that we stop being mocked and abused, and we need to now be taken seriously. And now it is our turn to hold them to account. Maybe they need to start answering to us. We have strong voices too. So I left mainstream TV. Well, actually I was thrown out. But I wanted to leave because I started to ask questions in late 2021. I started to interview nurses. I started to interview people that had had COVID. I wanted to hear experiences in the hospital. I started to question. I started to research why certain medications weren't being used. And each time I uncovered something, there was quite a lot of evidence there to uncover, none of which you hear about in the news. And now we're hitting a crucial time. What you are seeing on TV is not the reality of what's actually happening on the ground in many, many circumstances. So there's a slant, there's a skew, and we've got to do something about it. And I'm prepared to do something about it. In my small way, I can cover breaking news of the day. I can interview people at the scene. I can do a Zoom call. I can do production, where I take a camera and I go to a location and I shoot. Somebody could come to a small studio of mine and I can shoot and I can get their story and we can put that out there. Now it is time for us to put our message out there. We know our truths and we want fair and balanced reporting now. And now it is time for that. And I'm willing to stand up for that. And I'm willing to share your story. But I can't do this alone. I need your help. So if you have stories, if something has happened to you and you want to let me know about it, please get in touch. There are links below. Please contact me and I will do my best to get your story on the air. I have lots of people to talk to that I haven't had time to talk to yet because it's staggering. It's staggering the stories that are out there and the stories that haven't been told. And also in terms of breaking news, there's lots of breaking news misinformation going on out there. And that needs to be covered also. And I'm here and I'm willing to do it. But again, I can't do that alone either. It takes sort of like a mini army of people to help. So look below, you will find some links, how you can get in touch with me. I want to hear your story. If you're the average person and you want to do a phone interview, let's do some phoners, old school style. I won't censor you. You can say whatever you have to say, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. You can come and disagree with me as long as you want. We are fair. We are balanced. We are looking for the truth. We are looking for real reporting. So I encourage you to get a hold of me if you have a story. And I encourage you to check the links below because I can't really do this in the big way that I want to do this without your support. So we can go big. We can go big like how they do in the US. I mean, just look at them. They are annihilating the ratings of certain big broadcasters, and we can do it too. I also encourage you that if you see something on the news that you have an issue with, that you call the station, you call their news director, you contact their reporters, and you say, what was that you put on? That was extremely biased, because that seems to be happening. The truth is not getting out there. And I want to help tell the truth in whatever small way I can, be it small, be it medium, be it big. Let's work together. I want to hear from you. check out the links below, and let's do what we can. We have a lot of work in front of us. There's a lot, I think, that's coming down the road here that needs to be covered. It needs to be covered fairly. It needs to be covered accurately. No more censorship. This is a place you can come and tell your truths, and we can find out the reality of what's actually happening. We can listen to the people, and this is your venue right here to say what you want. And we share it, we send it to people, we send it around, and we get the word out. And we do it together. Thanks.
Yeah, that was the amazing Anita Krishna. I've played a clip in the past about, I don't know, a couple weeks back anyway, during the whole Canadian trucker convoy. And she kind of spoke out, I guess you could say, in a very, very, it was heartwarming, inspirational, and a little bit cheeky too, which, goes to show how much gusto she's got in terms of her feelings and emotions towards this whole thing. But yeah, it's one of those I don't know, it's one of those things though that wouldn't be possible unless we had freedom of press. And this is one of the things that's happening right now. It's right at our doorstep, people. I mean, people my age, I remember, in school we were always talking about, if we became communists and stuff, and, there's a lot of banter back and forth, but, it's kind of ironic because that's what's happening. And it's about investigative journalism. It's about leveling the playing field so that we have a fair shot, not just in business, in love, in society, but also in keeping the dishonest honest and being able to report on them. And when there's unfairness and injustice, like, it has to be exposed. So if we are under a totalitarian kind of regime where they control the opposition and they control journalism, that is where we are. That is when we are really truly going to be in that 1984 Orwellian kind of circumstance. And there won't be a damn thing then that anybody can do about it, because once it's in place, like, it won't matter, because like anything that's on the news is going to be what they want you to hear, and you wouldn't be able to find out if somebody was being treated unfairly. There wouldn't be a fight. There would just be silence. It's not the kind of world I want to live in. It's not the kind of world that people have literally fought and died for. We're just shitting on their legacy right now. So, I mean, we got to kind of think about this. There's a few bills that are in place that, well, not in place, but there's a few bills that are being questioned right now that we're going to have to take a little bit of a look at. I'm just going to find ourselves. I had all of these bookmarked, but I ended up closing it and using a different browser because I was having audio issues, which is probably no big surprise. But let's see here. Okay, I think it was a Rebel News piece here. Or it might not have been. Let's see here. But while I'm looking for what I'm looking for, even over on the other side, across the pond, Russell Brand is coming under fire. Out of all people, he's coming out as another Joe Rogan. It's just hilarious because, like, Joe Rogan bad. He has talk show. People say stuff. Like, so fucking what? Who cares what even happens on there? I mean, it's an exchange of, opinions and conversation, but in no way does he even tout his podcast as news, or it's what it is, right in everyone's face. It's just a show that people talk on, and yet he's being looked at as the anti CNN, the anti news anchor. But it's ridiculous where we've gone now. And I mean, you have to think about this. I mean, there are a lot of famous people with lots of money that have actually spent a lot in donation, to these. I don't even want to use political terminology. I'm just going to pretty much just say these bought and paid for news outlets. Because if they're not covering all aspects of a story, then it's just logical to assume then, just with logic alone, it's logical to assume that there's a reason why they're not offering the counter argument to another piece that they've done. So unless they're profiting from it, why wouldn't they say everything there is in the hopes that they would get viewership or subscribership from whatever angle that they covered? If it was truly the media acting on their own behalf, then you would think that they would throw all of the news out there, and whatever stuck to the wall, they would cover more of. And yet that's not what we're not seeing that at all. That's not what's happening. I mean, I'm not even a smart guy, and I mean, Jesus, I mean, I can see that. Maybe it's because of where I grew up and how I grew up, the people I grew up around, and I can just spot when someone's full of shit. And it's usually just in their actions and in what they don't do, just as much as in what they are doing. So, I mean, a couple of you might be nodding your head right now going, yep, Hamilton homegrown. But, yeah, man. Might have been this brief word on Ukraine. It's only, how long is that?
Hey, everyone.
Yeah, that's about 10 minutes. Let me just see here. I might not have seen it here. I might have seen it another place. But here's another piece that she just did a few days ago regarding Ukraine and the whole thing that's going on down there.
It's a very, very turbulent time going on right now, but emotional and very overwhelming with what is going on in the Ukraine right now. Putin launching an attack. I know Ukraine and Russia have had problems for many, many years in their fights for solidarity, have gone back and forth. Why Putin has chosen this time to launch or to wage war with Ukraine, I don't know. A political scientist could probably tell me more about it, but maybe he sees that we are weak. Maybe he sees that other powers in the world are quite weak right now, particularly the United States of America, being led by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I mean, come on. And maybe he sees weakness in Canada also, because we can all see it, the leadership there. He knows maybe this is the time to strike, literally. Or maybe there's something else going on. Maybe the World Economic Forum or other globalists are mad at Putin and they want to make him the bad guy right now to attack because Putin doesn't play their games. He doesn't have centralized banking, or maybe his whole banking system is different. Maybe there's things there that we don't know. But whatever the mainstream media is telling you, if there's anything I've learned in the past little while, please look for the opposite. Please look for another side of the story. Trust those independent journalists coming from Kiev or coming from the scene. We need to be looking at those people now, because we're not really getting full stories on anything. But I mentioned weakness in leadership, and I mentioned sadness. And we felt very, very sad a week ago, just when everything was happening. You know, the people who organized the convoys getting arrested, not getting any bail. The coffee shop owners who got harassed, the people getting trampled on. I mean, things like that, and the things that we saw were emotional. And in a sense, I wrote an article on this, but I feel like our prime minister waged war on his own citizens, citizens who came to protest and citizens who brought no weapons. So we all saw the video of the lady being trampled with the horse. And then some media report said that that was a doctored photo. Well, maybe somebody doctored a photo, I don't know, and passed that around. But the video that I saw was not a doctored anything. That was exactly as I saw it and as you saw it. And we did not see that all over the news. The other thing is people were treated like absolute garbage, you know, with their being starved, taking their fuel, taking their money, you know, just beating them off and being completely harassed by Ottawa police who did not look like the police that I would look up to as a little girl when I was a little girl. They looked like tyrants themselves. They looked evil. They were jacked up.
They're saying that they're going to break it.
No, we're just doing it for spite. No, we're doing it for spite.
You have to show your face.
Okay, share this out, you guys. Get it out everywhere. Now, get it out. They're saying they're going to break the window. They already walked around back, you guys, so...
I know they can't get in because they're breaking in and then they'll have to pay the thing for the
Here's your tax service. Here's your taxes at play, everyone. Welcome to Absolute Tyranny.
Okay, this coffee shop owner, he's not the only one. I also saw a man being dragged out of his truck and beaten, kneed. I saw people being batoned. What the heck? Over protesting mandates? Protesting mandates for a vaccine that doesn't immunize you in the first place. Who's right and who's wrong? You have public health officials that don't come out and talk to doctors. It's a total mess, and you expect us to eat this garbage. And the other thing is, now is the time for opposition. So where's the opposition leaders? Where is everybody? We certainly didn't get any support from the NDP.
Out in the crowd, it's all hugs.
Black people, indigenous people, people from all
From
faiths.
all walks of life, all it is all love, because they understand if we don't hold the line now, if Canada, one of the most liberal nations in the world, you know, they call us the hat to the United States. You all make fun of us because we're all kind people. Would you have ever thought that in a nation like Canada, you know, this kind of tyranny would be taking place?
At Parliament's doorstep.
Parliament's doorstep. And I apologize to the rest of the individuals of my faith because we have a member in Parliament, Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the NDP, a complete scumbag. Him, his brother, his entire party. They like to talk about, you know, we're all about the people, the labor force, equity in rights, equity in terms of, you know, freedoms all across the board, making sure that everyone's safe. They're all about the social needs and access to them. Well, guess what? They're involved. They're the ones helping Trudeau close down bank accounts, and they're compliant. So even if you're silent on these issues, that's compliance as well. So we would like everyone to know that Jagmeet Singh doesn't represent the Sikhs, and he never did. He tugged on our heartstrings to make it seem like just because he looks like us, he could get us to vote for him. I've never voted for him in any election. I've never voted for Trudeau either, and I will continue not to vote for these oppressors, and we will make sure that we will still remain here to fight for our freedoms, and we're here till the end. Thank you guys.
And to that end, the tactics that they took trying to instigate this emergency act so quickly. An emergency act? What is your emergency? That there's parts of downtown Ottawa that can't be accessed? What is your emergency that you're complaining that in 3 weeks people want to get their lives back to normal? Are you kidding me? When people for 2 years, you have ruined their businesses and their livelihoods under the guise of health, of public health, when you knew all along You get some medication, you get some early treatment, you're going to be fine, and you don't need this stupid vaccine anyway. You guys know that. The people in charge know that. And to make these ridiculous Emergency Act rules just absolutely appalling, in my opinion. But anyway, and Christopher Freeland, I'm now scared to death of Christopher Freeland when she was saying these measures are going to be in place permanently. They're going to be in place permanently? Oh my God.
The names of both individuals and entities, as well as crypto wallets, have been shared by the RCMP with financial institutions.
Bullshit.
And accounts have been frozen, and more accounts will be frozen.
But anyway,
Yeah.
within 48 hours, there was so much opposition in the Senate, and thank God to all the senators that spoke up and against this and spoke so honestly, and other premiers in other provinces who condemned this stupid Emergency Act in the first place. Bravo to you for speaking up, because you should be speaking up to go against something that is so incredibly stupid in the first place. But within 48 hours, they got rid of it, and thank God. And the only reason they got rid of it is because the banks were like, what the heck are you doing? I mean, they were freezing the accounts of moms who gave the money that they had to donate to the convoy, and then they freezing the bank accounts of people. How dare you treat us like this? How dare you? Get out of office now. You are worthless. Worthless. You don't deserve us. You don't deserve us. It's appalling. I can't wait for another election. I want to see these people done. They don't care about you. They have shown that they don't care about you. And many of us who are fighting against this became very depressed when this is going on, because it almost seemed like something unwinnable, that they got us, that they just got us. They're freezing our way of life so that we can't put gas in our car. We can't buy milk, that we can't buy things anymore. This is what they're hanging over our heads. It's disgusting. And hey, the convoy is still going on. There's a big convoy, over 200,000 truckers driving across the U.S. right now. You're not hearing about that on the news, are you either? Because the news has gone to shit. So just remember, trust yourself, trust the people that you trust, that the journalists that you see online, even just the people that upload videos, they just happen to be there. They're telling you the truth, and they're bringing you the stories from the scene. And God bless them, because the media and your government don't give a shit.
Wow. Ugh. She's got a bit of sass. Oh, jeez. Wouldn't want to be in the bad books, if you know what I mean. Anyway, no, she's I find her to be characteristically inspirational, and very, very much in that awakened state where it's like going buck wild when you realize that you lost your keys somewhere and you didn't just misplace them. It's like that gut-wrenching feeling, and then it's like, okay, wait a minute. And then you have to get super investigative. What do I have spares of? What don't I? What do I have to get made? What do I have to be worried about? You start going through everything. It's that stage that I can see almost that she's at. I'd love to get an interview with her, because I'd like to know from her perspective, because I'm sure that there's several things in her career as a global director that probably didn't seem like anything, that were probably very, very innocuous, like just kind of like almost like unremarkable, like you wouldn't think anything of it. That didn't stand out until certain connections and dots get basically into building this plot line. Like, in a way, it is like a plot line, and I'm sure just having seen these other videos, like there's other videos of an angry mom coming up, and I guess they're tearing down after a remote session. I think it was during the trucker convoy in Ottawa. Anyway, she controlled herself. She was very, 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 very assertive. However, persistent and respectable. So at no point did she go calling names or making accusations. She was asking questions. Even if they did allude to something, no, she was just simply just asking questions and judging by their responses how things would go on a minute to second, basis. It was rather crazy. I've got a copy of that somewhere. I'm going to be featuring that. I got to get into doing a weekly video where I compile bits and pieces from all of these shows and kind of interconnect them to, I don't know, kind of build a baseline of where we're at that week or the week before, whenever you watch it. Just something to smash together, and it might help get the word out there of what we're doing. But yeah, man, it's been exhausting. I've spent the last I'm up to 2 weeks now. I've been recovering from our server being kind of smashed to bits. It's one of those, I think it was an attempted hack. It didn't hack us per se. It just broke everything. Anyway, so just kind of cobbling it back together. But I digress. We just keep going. But that means BeerTube will be back up hopefully in the next couple of days. Thankfully, no data was lost. So listen to that, whoever's out there. Yeah, nothing got lost or compromised. Just all the configurations of the system were destroyed. So just got to rebuild it again. It's a pain in the ass, but it's a recoverable issue. But I'm probably gonna do a show on that. On one of the other Rumble channels that I have set up for tech. Same with on Tech Talk on YouTube and over on Twitch. And then it'll be on all of these other platforms that I'm on here as well. There's D Live, Breaker TV, whatever, I don't know. Blah, 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 blah. I'll just superimpose things in a video sometime. But anyway. Yeah, Anita Krishna. Yeah, that was a joint that I smoked, by the way. I should have smoked it before the show, but I would never have started the stream, so hey, we both win. All right, let's see what else we got that I wanted to talk about here. Yeah, we wanted to talk about the other bills that are being proposed to get rid of the basically the free press. Now, it's no secret because the leader and premier of our country, Justin Trudeau, he's basically shown that he wants to get rid of our 1982 Constitution Act. Yeah, that's kind of a bad thing. Anyway, let's see here. What are we looking for? Oh, yeah. That's right. Canada. Okay, yeah. Okay, that I forgot about that one. That's a side note. Here, I'm gonna pull that one over. It's funny because when you spill the can of nails, sometimes you find a few wood screws, a couple of tap cons, and and a hinge. It's like, oh, how did that get into the box of nails? But hang on. Okay, it must be Bill C-10. I'm gonna go on a hunch. It was a Bill C10. For some reason that one showed. Oh, okay. Oh, that's already been shot down. What year's that? Man, you know, if you have a online news, oh, there it is. Sorry, I was just about to criticize them. Sorry, they're excluded, but I'll make the critique anyway. Some of these places don't have the date for an article, at least not in a spot that's either easy to find or maybe on your device that you're watching it. But it's got to be prominently displayed so you know when the fuck something is going on. So yeah, so again, say okay, Bill C10, that was already in dispute over a year ago. Well, a year, less than a year ago, June 23rd, 2021. So maybe that's been voted on. What is it here? Bill C10, which posits new rules for streaming services such as Netflix, Spotify, and YouTube in the House of Commons. Okay, so it's that kind of streaming. So it's basically to the end user style streaming. So I'm not sure the swing vote is on YouTube, depending on what their definition is of streaming service, because if it also includes peer-to-peer streaming, that's a completely different technology and also a different issue because it has a very large civic component. Like there's a huge civil component to that, because that's not streamer to end product. That's usually like it's a more intimate kind of a connection in terms of distributed networking, especially if you have like multiple people on your panels and things like that. Yeah, it's not the same as like a commercial streamer, that's for sure. That's usually not involving a live event and people in real time. But who knows? We are definitely headed in that direction with everything. So I wonder if Bill C10 might have some kind of a lining of that sort of thing to break down further, clauses of the bill in later amendments and what have you. The Internet Society recently criticized the bill. Of course, what they'll do is they'll try to get a bill passed for like 30 fucking things, all of which would remove, some demonstrably, crazy claims, and yet one of them might get passed, and that one might still be just as equally fucked up, and yet for them that's a win, because they just wanted something out of those 30 options, had something involved that was, shared between them, and like as long as they got one of them, then they pretty much won. So it'll authorize, let's say, access to records, or it'll pre-authorize an investigation or being cut off from a service or something. That's where we're headed, man. That's what this is all about. A lot of people don't quite understand what I was getting at when I said that this was the test of a platform, because I don't think people understand what a platform is. Or they might have a differing opinions of what that means. When I say it, I mean it exactly like I mean like Windows 98 or Mac OS or Linux. I mean, it's a platform to run a program, and it's a different bunch of programs. This is for a social credit system. This isn't conspiracy theory. That's why the vaccine passports were basically put in play, because the software was installed, it was set up on a global level, and they can pull back and pull back everything now. They can pull back like, even the mandatory X-rays at some of the airports and what have you. I mean, same deal. You know, they don't have to put people through them in the turnstiles, but I mean, they got them on hand if they need to. So, you know, it's just a mandate away. I don't think I mean, I don't know how many of you actually understand the severity of where things have gone, and it's false flag after false flag after false flag, whether it was a real event or arguably not, or questionably not. That's besides the point. It's that the implications of the events were far outweighing any of the actual damages, and what was done as a solution in the problem reaction solution equation, well, the solution was way more pronounced than the event itself in most cases. I'd say in all of the cases, but you know, it depends on what facts you understand as to be accurate, you know, or accurately depicted or relayed. Because often the first casualty of any horrible situation will be the truth, as long as somebody benefited from it. So, and hey, take that with it what you will, but that's how it works. That's what's fucked up. That's what needs to change. But that was Bill C-10. So that could be getting tossed back and forth still. Because if they just came up with that that article June of last year, then we'll have to see what else we can dig up here. So it wasn't Bill C-10. Because I see Bill C-10 hastily passes Parliament, earning bipartisan. When was this? Okay, what day is that? Okay, so that is also June 2021. So that's June 23rd, 2021. Okay. So we're coming up on, well, you know, we're coming up on 10 months, I guess. We're almost going to hit the annual for that thing. So that explains a lot. Okay. Nope. Just reading these entries here. All right. Let's see. Sorry for the dead air, people. But you want to hear me talking all the time? Come on. But February 28th. I haven't looked at any of this other stuff in terms of reactions. So personally, I'm just too busy to give a shit about that unless it's something that's being voted on by Parliament anyway. But I just don't really pay. I don't keep my ear to the ground enough. But I'll tell you when I hear about it. Let's see here. The growing number of Canadian journalists who are funded by the feds. Oh yeah, and I think that's what they've been trying to do for. I'm almost certain of it. I'm not gonna read it. I'm just doing a quick scan, trying to get a feel for what they're saying here. No, I have nothing to say about these guys. I dig that picture. That's kind of a cool shot, though. I like that. But I don't know anything about these guys, so I'll just kind of I'll not go down that road. I'll check them out later, though, and I'll give you guys my opinion. But I just see, I think there's something to that, though, because you think about a lot of the groups that have come up over the years, like the Young Turks and, pretty much the Young Turks. And it's the only name dropping I'll do tonight. But, yeah, it's, I don't know. It's obvious that there's an incentive for some people to do this, whereas others won't get away with it, especially amongst a sensible, honest crowd. Like, you'll get called out if you say stupid stuff for no reason or for a reason that benefits anything other than, whoever's on the tail end of a story, But, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of I don't know. How can I say this? Because I kind of gone through a bit of an evolution myself, the way things have gone the last couple of years. Well, when I say couple, I mean like 10 almost. But yeah, like when I first got into the whole podcasting gig there, it was like a brand new thing for me anyway. It was probably done for a few years by a couple of the really, really good ones, eh? But yeah, I was lucky enough to meet a few of them, and I kind of got rolled up into it really, really fast, and then I don't know, almost as fast as it started, I kind of stopped, and I just went soul searching again. But yeah, that's when I lived on the road and just traveled around, and I was learning about the medical industry on both sides of it, like the Western side of it, and then also on the holistic side. And I don't know, I came to my own conclusions about a lot of things, but I was able to come to those conclusions by seeing so much. So, having been exposed to a lot of different cultures and how they handle things, and then coming back to my own culture, it was like, holy crap, I could completely see with new eyes what was happening here. And I couldn't believe that other people didn't notice these things when I got back. I just couldn't believe it. But I thought it was me. I was like, oh God, maybe I've been like, maybe I'm having cross culture kind of, shocks, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But anyway, I'm kind of dwelling in my head just about, wow, how crazy it is now compared to what it used to be. And I thought it was crazy then. This is like Cuckooville. But like, you guys call me crazy, but Jesus, like, I cannot believe the world that I'm living in right now. And I think we need to take the horse by the reins again, and we got to control the situation. The only way for us to do that is we got to get into the politics. We got to invest our time into that and start putting the pressure on. You want to see if they are what they are? Well, we put the pressure on them. We give them something to fucking, we give them some resistance. And if this is an imaginary force, the worst thing that comes out of it is we get good management. And we know each other. So we kind of, we could say mama jokes. But come on now. But that's what we do. That's how we do this. That's how we win this. But hey, as the motto says, it's always noon somewhere, and hopefully where you are, it is noon. because this has been the Daily Noonerino. And I'll even switch to the other screen to say this one? No. That one? No. This one? No. From the O. Yeah, okay. From the O next to the N. This was the Daily Noonerino. Looking at you somewhere. But, yeah. We'll be back very soon. Actually, I might be back later tonight and play some Grand Theft Auto. So if you're up and about for that, then hey, I'll be swearing cuss words and blowing shit up. But until then, don't do anything I wouldn't do. And hey, it's always noon somewhere.